Hey everybody, I just finished up a time in this barn studio behind me, and I haven't shared a lot about that journey this summer because it's been an extremely sensitive and introspective time where I felt very vulnerable and not quite up to par with what an artist or a musician or whatever should be. So kind of tackling some of those insecurities straight up head on and starting to fit some pieces together, of which I won't be sharing yet, except the little scraps that come out in vlogs or online or whatever. But anyway, I wanted to share with you this physical space and what it's sort of evolved into. And while we're out here, there's the liner and flooring of the teepee setting out to dry. And I'm gonna have to scrub it and clean off the mold that started because we weren't there for a month or so. And so let me take you inside the barn. So here you have the grand entry up this spooky staircase. Some people grab onto this railing, and I don't always. So you come in, and here's a space. In the beginning, sometimes I would take a second to sit down in this chair and gather my thoughts, take a breath, slow down, think about the time ahead. I'd kept a little cup beside this chair on this table here, and some oil that smells good, so just fragrance. Just try to slow down, gather my thoughts. If there was pressing to do lists or whatever, writing those things out on paper and putting them in the jar. And then I would often get up and start to get my materials out over here. Often starting at this platform. My work often starts on the floor, whether that's sitting, taking a breath, or stretching, or reading something, or writing something down. And I have this handy little briefcase full of goodies, art supplies. You got markers, scissors, calligraphy pen, glue, all sorts of paintbrushes and pens and pencils, notebook, and then so today I was in 2 Corinthians 12, verse 9, and I started to color on here to get some emphasis on the words. Otherwise I just start to zone it all out. It just feels like a bunch of blabber. So kind of like focusing in on what the words are actually saying was like, whoa, this is pretty heavy stuff. But then getting to verse 9, saying, my grace is sufficient for you, Meg, for power is perfected in weakness. And I was thinking about how, the last vlog I shared, just feeling like facing some of these questions of like, am I a failure for not following through with all these things? But realizing like the power, not just like authority power, but like the zest and passion and wholeness and fullness of just the ability to see something through, from the seed that breaks in the earth and sprouts up through the ground. There's power and there's energy involved in making that seed come through into something big. There's power involved, energy, and so realizing that he's talking about his power, God is talking about his power in my life to bring forth life. And so I wrote this out so that I can remember as like I've been keeping little mementos of verses that have been sort of a lifeline for me in difficult times. And so here, the words came to me. My grace is sufficient for you, for power is perfected in weakness. I did make a little song of that. I'll sing it right now, because why not? So I did not sing today, but this verse had like a little piece of a song to it from the other day. My grace is sufficient for you. 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 For power is perfected in weakness. 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 So as I was launching off of that song, I came over here to the piano where a song emerged that I will sing a little tiny piece of it. And I'm planning to kind of compose this into something longer and more complex that involves more parts. So some percussion, backup harmony, and a whole like congregation of stomping feet and clapping hands and clapping fingers. And there's actually some motions that go with it. So basically it'll be a congregational experience of, you could call it worship, you could call it a prayer, just like a crying out together. So try again. Wrong note. Here we go. Purify me with your power and your peace. 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 And then I added a little harmony. This is our heart we bring. This is our life 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 we bring. Ooh. that for now. I'm working on notating, learning about writing music. So this is my scratchy attempt at writing some of my own music out, which at this point is very rough around the edges, but I want to learn more. So there's a piano. And then after that, I came in to tackle this, which has been emerging. This is a 4-part series representing what I go through each month as a woman and my cyclical rhythms of life that are biological, physical, and psychological. So these all started in different times without realizing that I could connect them. And this was the original starting out. It's all just in a draft stage right now. But so that was an acrylic. And then some of you might have seen this one, which came with a pretty dramatic, intense post of some struggles that I was going through, and finding that art could be therapy for a place for those feelings that's safe and welcome, and they're allowed to be loud and energetic and destructive and chaotic. And then this piece I started today just with watercolor, kind of ideating a little bit, but as you can see, it's this figure, which is me, and this part of this beginning of movement that I've started, which is just more and more stretching going on. So I want to get more into dancing, and one of the things I see that's necessary for that is being able to stretch my body, right? But I just haven't identified with a lot of the stretching that's out there for several reasons or another. So I'm going with what my body's telling me to do. And lately, it's been this position, which is been sort of representative of taking flight on the things in me. And I just naturally keep moving into this position. And so after that, I start to clean up and call it a day. I think it's often just such an amazing reminder of the view I have of fresh air here, fresh Michigan air coming through. And eventually plan to build this space out more and more. And have some concerts in here with friends and make music and have it be a space for sharing. But this summer, like I said, it's been an introspective time of even finding out what my voice and my art and expression and process is. And so I'm ready to go back to Austin and begin to develop some of these things in community and in a church and in my own life as a mother. And so I really appreciate you taking so much time with me to come into my art and into my mind and time and space. And I just appreciate you guys joining us in the journey. And we'll talk to you when the next chapter opens up.